today. I would like to speak with you a little bit about the P.O.P.S program. 6 Steps to Peace. Peace is a program that we started by bringing guys together. Bloods and Crips, Aryan Brotherhoods, outlaw biker gangs, Mexican Mafia, MS-13, Native American gangs. We brought everybody that we could together. And we asked everybody to come together at a round table to stop the wars, stop the violence, stop hurting each other. And what we had to do is we had to get the leaders. But we had to have a spiritually founded group. And we had to make sure that this was based on spiritual principles. That we would remove all personalities, all barriers. And basically, what I did was I went throughout a compound and I got all of these leaders. And I asked them, what do you want for your people? What do you want for them? Do you want what's best for them? Well, if you want what's best for yours, like I want what's best for mine, can we all come together up under one common goal? One united plan to bring us all together so that we can all find what we have in common. So I had to go around. The P.O.P.S program is a 6-step program. Step 1 is form a bond. Step 2 is identify the problem. Step 3, express the importance of unity. Step 4, get into the solution. Step 5, build a strategy. And step 6, responsibilities. Give responsibilities. Now, let's go back to step 1. What I had to do was I had to find a way to be able to appeal to the interests of each leader, each person that was over a community. And if there was not one, I had to find a way to get the guys to come together and select one. Who did they feel had the best leadership skills, the ability to represent their communities? And I would go to them and I would tell them about my story, growing up with a mask on, unhappy, afraid, being led by being the tough guy, and feeling like that was the only way I could make it through. But I showed them how being that tough guy led to me having to commit acts and hurt people in a way that I did not want to hurt anybody. And so basically what I want to talk about with you today is in step 1, called form a bond. We got to remember that many people in life feel like they are alone. They're by themselves in whatever it is that they're going through. So we must understand their pain. And this means that we must take on an ability to be able to put ourselves in their shoes. In forming a bond, this is a step away from what the system called antisocial behavioral patterns. Meaning that we're no longer a part of society. We have now built a training pattern in our thought and in our actions that have led to us becoming sophisticated or what have you in ways of refraining from doing what society does. We find little small subgroups and subcultures to be a part of and come up under the banner of to make us feel comfortable not being a part of society ways. Society gains an education. Society begin to build upon what it is that they have always wanted to be their whole life. Well, we don't do that. A lot of us with the criminal mind, with the antisocial behavioral patterns, we seclude ourselves from normal society. And we begin to build a life based on what we want. Our own selfish desires. Our own fearful tactics of being able to survive in the environments in which we come up in. And that's not right. I don't have to survive. I must live through whatever it is and utilize whatever is pushing me to feel uncomfortable in this environment to do what I need to do to get out of it. But how do I do that? And if my pride is too big for me to ask for help from those who have gotten out, then usually I just condition myself in the ways that everyone else has conditioned themselves in. But this is not right. So in step one, we ask that each of us start forming a bond with someone we are not normally used to hanging around, kicking it with, or being amongst. If I grew up GD, black, then I need to go hang around some whites or Hispanics who are not GD, who are not with the same mentality grown up in the inner city like me. You know, and let me see how both of our pains coincide with each other. Because when I began to start going to the leaders of the Aryan Brotherhoods, of the Mexican mafias inside of the system, I found out that their pain and their people are going through the same that me and mine are going through. And so we began to form a bond naturally because we wanted better for our people. I began to talk to them about the things that I had to go through growing up, the things that I had to go through coming up in the prison system, wearing that mask, being that tough guy to survive. And I asked them, you know, what do you want for your people? And they wanted the same thing that I wanted for mine. For them to be able to grow into the person that they've always wanted to be. Nobody want to continue to send out soldiers to get killed on the front line, to kill people on the front line. If you're going to go on the front line courageously, go out and get an education. Become a lawyer or a doctor. Become a psychiatrist so that you can help us get out of this mental instability, this disease that's in our mind that we call denial. Denial, D-E-N-I-A-L, is an acronym. And each letter stands for a meaning, a word. D-E-N-I-A-L. Don't even notice I am lying. Huh? Don't even notice I am lying. Well, who am I lying to? I'm lying to everybody. But before I can lie to you, I have to lie to me. I have to make myself believe this. And we have been conditioned over the years, living in poverty, but looking at TV thinking that we're supposed to be what the TV says we are supposed to be. Being fearful because the media and the news tell us we're supposed to be scared. Being gangster and tough because the rap songs tell us that's what we need to be viewed as. Watching the TV shows with people who have nice money and cars thinking that that's what we're supposed to have. But no, that's not what we're supposed to have. We're supposed to have exactly what we work for. That's what we're supposed to have. And if we want more, then we educate ourselves on ways to get more. But this shouldn't cost anybody, especially ourselves, the torture and the pain that we allow ourselves to be put through. That means that we have to form a bond with people who are actually working their lives and their ways out of who they used to be and what they used to be conditioned to do. I know this may sound a little strange, but it's true. I promise you. Now, in forming a bond, in step one, we focus first on forming a bond. We realize that until we can successfully interact with these other people in a way that brings a special level of comfort or at least open-mindedness, nothing can be accomplished. In forming this bond, we strive to learn never to come across as a reformer or an evangelist, meaning that we don't try to preach to people. It says we must cooperate, never criticize. We cooperate with understanding, not striving to be understood. We don't try to always put our points on people. We open up and we listen to their viewpoints. And we tell a few truths. We tell a few of the principles that we work on. And we listen to their response to it. Remembering that a lot of these people are still in denial as well. And so we got to form a bond based on principles before that personality that's that mask. And we got to be able to differentiate the two. It's a difference from the mask that we put on to cover up who we truly are and opening up and showing who we really are. But if I'm not working on being able to open up to who I am, there's no way in the world that I can ask somebody else to do the same. So in forming a bond, basically, we give them our testimony. We tell them about the pains that we've gone through, the hurts, the habits, the inconsistencies of life, and where our thinking got us to. Okay, forming a bond. In forming a bond, we tell about our testimony. We sit down with individuals one-on-one. We don't just try to get a big group. One thing that Martin Luther King taught is that before he ever went into a place and began to stabilize a community, the first thing that he did was he sent different guys that were already from that community in to speak to one-on-one to different individuals who had some what we call clout or pull or finesse or abilities to be able to persuade the people from a nice standpoint, meaning that they were decent individuals that the community respected and they loved, and they knew that for the most part they had their best interests at hand. And so that's what we're talking about with forming a bond. When we form a bond, we're asking guys to go back into their communities, and we're asking them to get with other guys who actually care about the people, because these are the guys who are going to be able to appeal to their people. And what we're doing, we're asking guys to form one-on-one bonds. We're not asking for people to come together as a congregation. No. Forming a bond means a one-on-one, where I'm telling you my testimony. I'm telling you about me and how I messed up in life, and about how that messing up in life has turned to a lot of people being hurt, abused, misused, treated the wrong way, and most of all, my own corrupted spirit. They say in order to allow the spirit to come in, first we must pull that filth out, because the spirit can't come into some area where it's been blocked. So I had to, me personally, work through the 12 steps, and in the fourth step of recovery in AA, I had to do an inventory and talk about the bad things that had happened to me, the bad things that I did to people, as well as the good things. And this kind of helped me understand my spiritual side and my personality side. The personality was the mask that I put on and all the things that I needed to accumulate to portray a character. The spiritual side was who I was from day one. The beautiful spirit that God placed inside of me that wanted to become useful to my community. A servant, a loving person, a man of integrity and dignity, respected, honored, and honorable, willing to earn my respect. But that personality side wanted to get by. It wanted what it wanted, selfish. It wanted what it wanted, to be viewed as someone that people would fear or not want to bother. So understanding the differences through working AA program, this is what helped me out with beginning to understand how to form a bond with these 6 steps to peace. These 6 steps to peace, and asking for you to form a bond in step 1 basically is asking you to basically sit down, have a one-on-one testimony where you tell them about you. That first impression is a lasting impression. How you are viewed from day one when you come into contact with the next leader or community leader or gang leader or cultural leader or religious leader, whoever. That first impression is going to be a lasting impression. And when you appeal to their interests, you better come for real. Don't come with the fake stuff. Don't come with trying to be somebody you're not, trying to utilize words and languages that you don't live and you don't know. Be you. Let them know that you love them and that you want to connect with them, but don't try to sell nobody, a mud pie, because they know that it's mud. Be open, be honest, be real. You know, be sincere and open up and tell them about you, about your dirtiness, and about your cleaning habits now. Another thing we ask you to do is to not preach at them. Don't try to make this some form of a, some form of like you want to be an evangelist. No, no, no. Strive to lighten the mood. Keep everything mellow. Keep everything smooth, going in flow. Uh, like me, I would come in, I would say, hey, how you doing? My name is Brother Hess. I was born in California. I was raised in Atlanta, Georgia, and basically I was brought up very poor. I don't have I don't have much money even to this day because if I get a lot of money, I get conceited and you know, egotistical. And so I'm okay with being you know, what they call low budget at times. I'm a good spirit. A lot of guys look up to me because of a lot of bad things that I did in the past. But they respect me today because of the good things that I'm doing and I'm striving for. And I'm not doing it for me as much so I'm doing it for my community. I realize that working for me, it only gets me in worse trouble. But when I work for my people, I step up and I stand up in a way that I've never stood up before. And I love my people. I want better for my people. I will sacrifice for my people. And I'm sure you'll do the same for yours. You know, I love the way that it feels to see my people begin to develop the skills and the love that they need in order to nurture themselves to become better men, better women, you know, better children. These are the things that you have to let it be understood, and it has to flow through you. So when you're forming a bond, we want to ask you to also let them see the struggle that you had to endure before accepting change, before coming to the light, so to speak. Let them know that you had to go through some things in order for you to become a better person. You know, and now, once you have done that part, open the floor for them to speak. They may speak a lot, they may only speak for a second, but regardless, you have formed a bond with them by opening yourself up for them and allowing them to know that, hey, I'm forming this bond because I'm working the 6 steps to peace. And in order for me to get peace, I must be at one with my brother. And I look at you as my brother. I look at you as my sister. I look at you as my fellow tribesmen. Okay? You know, one thing we want to do, we want to look for similarities when they begin to share back with us. Just like when we're speaking, we want to speak things that we know are similar to their own struggles. You know, you got to be you, but at the same time, you got to remember who you're speaking with. If I'm speaking with a Muslim brother, then I know that he's a believer in God. So I can speak freely about God. But if I'm speaking to a blood gang leader, he doesn't necessarily believe in a strong faith, but he does believe in a higher power usually. And he believes in the ethics of the street code. And by knowing that he believes in the ethics of the street code, then you use ethics of understanding, of value, instead of all the God, God, God. I would say the right thing, the righteous thing. You understand me? The thing that will bring our people harmony, unity. We must protect our people. These are the different terminologies. Be aware of speaking what is your own language, but at the same time understanding their language too. Remember, it's about being able to understand rather than to be understood. So know that going in, who you're talking to and what background they came from. Okay? Next, we express goals that you have for the future that may very well be close to his own or her own. From what you've heard, I mean, listen to them. Once you have given your spiel and your testimony and your opening up, your sharing, then you open up the floor to allow them to share. And once they have shared, then you listen to what it is that they're sharing, and then you prepare yourself to be able to help them understand how what both of you have said come together. This take very, very good listening patterns, not selective listening. And that's something that we've practiced for years. We listen to what we want to listen to. We hear what we want to hear. And if it doesn't coincide with our old selfish mind frame, then we'll kind of seclude out everything that we feel like doesn't matter to help accomplish the goals of what we want. But in this matter right here, we're being selfless, not selfish. Meaning we're looking for ways to help them. And forming a bond, remember that. You're not going to this to form a bond to get what you want. You're forming this bond to give them help that they need. We're doing this out of love and service. We're coming to this to be a servant, not seeking selfish ways of being able to accomplish our own selfish motives and goals. Remember, they know a mud pie when they see it. If you sell them a mud pie, they're going to know it's dirty in the end, and they're going to be very, very, very hostile and angry with you. So it's very important that we be sincere and that we go into this with the right heart. This is not a program for selfish and self-centered ways, for striving to gain and obtain power or money. This is a situation that we're going into to open up a unification that can break the walls and the barriers of everything that has secluded us for so many years. We hope to make a lasting impression through expressing care and concern for the life and conduct of the individuals we come into contact with. This is very important that we express this care and concern, because if I don't care, people are going to know it. If I'm not concerned with their issues, they're going to feel it. They're going to listen to what we say and why we're saying it. Why are we catching on to certain things that they're saying? Is it for our own, manipulative ways? Or is it because we truly have compassion and want for their people what we want for our own? So please, form this bond. Keep in mind that if your approach is brushed off or signs of resistance come about, please back up. Taking no offense to this now. Use the knowledge that you have acquired and find a more suitable individual that may be in that same social circle. Or go and try another social circle and come back there later on. After you have gained avenues about other people, places, and backgrounds. And once they see that the other people are formulating around you in this event, and this strivings for this peace, then prayerfully you can go back and either go to them or someone that is closely associated with them and show them, hey, look what's going on for the last 3 to 6 months. And look at how we're now combining resources and unification tactics to build on what it is that we need, and that's unity. So I ask you to take this into consideration when forming a bond. Don't push yourself on anybody. Okay? Now we're going to go over to step 2. After we have formed a bond, now we're ready to get into step 2 and actually identify the problems that we have. When we speak about forming a bond and getting ready to go into step 2, basically what we have done, similar to what Dr. King did back in the day, is, we kind of went into the town, we got the different sections of people, we let them know that, hey, we're building a platform that we can all unite and come together on. And once we built that platform, now we can bring everybody in together. Now we're ready to bring in people to the congregation, to the platform. You may call it a community meeting of sorts. And that means that the whole community, regardless of what subculture, section, background, race, religion, affiliation you're a part of, we're ready to bring everybody together for a meeting. Because the people and the leaders who we've spoken with, they have went back and speaking to their people. And now we're ready to bring everybody together, but with the understanding that the leaders have listened to all the issues of their different communities. And now we're ready to come together and allow those representatives to speak up to address the issues. But the people know that the person that is representing them, or they may have selected someone else more suitable to their knowledge to represent them in this faction, then we will bring them together and they would sit at the forefront of that community. But we would all come together in the forefront of that room with all of our people around to hear us begin to identify the problem. Now this can be worked on again if we're doing this in a small section, then this can be done just simply by me. I'm my own leader. You understand? You know, if I'm forming a bond with my classmates, or if I'm forming a bond with other students that are on this this area, or if I'm forming a bond with other affiliations in my community, if I'm forming a bond inside of a prison system, wherever we choose to form this bond at, the main key point is we're bringing people that are influential to the table now to identify the problem.